Hi, welcome to my channel to listen to sinister stories. One gloomy Sunday morning, around 7:30 a.m., I made the ill-fated decision to venture into the depths of Walmart for some much-needed shopping. Seeking solace from the anticipated throngs of people throughout the day, I intentionally chose this early hour on a weekend to avoid the dreaded weekend rush. As I traversed the store, a hushed stillness enveloped the aisles, with only a handful of individuals scattered sporadically. All seemed ordinary until I unwittingly arrived at the soap aisle. Out of the corner of my eye, a heavy-set figure caught my attention. This peculiar individual was perched on the edge of the aisle, fixedly gazing at me. An eerie sensation crept up my spine, yet I dismissed it as a mere happenstance. Ignoring the peculiar observer, I carried on with my shopping, oblivious to the unsettling events that were about to unfold. To my mounting unease, the man began shadowing my every move, maintaining a distance of about 20 feet. Whether I traversed the store or meandered through different sections, he doggedly trailed behind, his presence an indelible weight on my consciousness. My initial annoyance slowly metamorphosed into sheer discomfort. Darting apprehensive glances over my shoulder, I confirmed his persistent presence, an unsettling reminder that I was being relentlessly watched. As an attempt to ward off my rising paranoia, I resolved to confide in one of the employees stationed at the self-checkout area. However, when I mustered the courage to seek assistance, a chilling realization struck me. The man had vanished into thin air. It was as though he had ceased to exist. Although relieved by his sudden disappearance, a nagging thought nagged at the periphery of my mind, questioning his motives and intentions. Completing my errands, I made my way to the parking lot, stationed at the far back, my habitual parking spot shrouded in darkness. But as fate would ironically have it, when I approached my car from a mere 50 feet away, I was greeted by the sight of the man. An inexplicable dread coiled within me, for he stood motionless, a mere 10 feet from my vehicle, locked in an unyielding gaze fixed upon me. How he had discerned my car amidst the vacant spaces remained a haunting enigma. Momentarily frozen by fear, I cautiously pressed forward, inching closer to my car. Every fiber of my being prepared to sprint to safety should the man make any sudden movements. Yet he eerily abstained from approaching. Finally, reaching the sanctuary of my vehicle, I hurriedly secured myself within its confines. The man maintained his unwavering stare until I ignited the engine and rapidly escaped the confines of that unnerving parking lot. I never laid eyes upon him again, but the creeping unease of that Walmart encounter remains etched in my memory as the epitome of true terror. In hindsight, these tales of dread serve only to augment my decision to sever ties with my previous employment at Walmart. While it may not be branded as my primary reason for departure, the unsettling incident certainly contributed to my lingering disquietude. An inexplicable occurrence transpired during one of my usual night shifts, a mundane routine that involved organizing and stocking items throughout the store after closing hours. On one fateful weeknight, around midnight, I found myself engrossed in my usual tasks within the store's secluded back room. Engulfed in the silence, a sudden loud thud shattered the tranquility, resonating ominously from an undisclosed location. My heart pounded within my chest as I scanned the vicinity, searching for the source of this disruption. The absence of any visible culprit intensified my trepidation, for I remained utterly alone in that shadowed confinement. Summoning the courage to move forward, I hastily resumed my duties, suppressing the growing anxiety that gripped my senses. Alas, mere moments later, the unsettling thud reverberated once more, further intensifying the stark uncertainty of my surroundings. My eyes darted around, unable to decipher the origin of this haunting noise within the labyrinthine maze lined with shelves and hidden alcoves, where a potential malefactor might lurk. A final echoing thud sounded, and I succumbed to the undeniable realization that I was not alone within this enigmatic realm. Each subsequent excursion into the back room was fraught with mounting fear, a persistent gnawing consciousness that plagued my every step. Despite my vigilant watchfulness, the elusive presence remained concealed, eluding both my line of sight and comprehension. Whispers danced on the fringes of audibility, jolting my already frayed nerves. Hey you, a disembodied voice tantalized from the adjacent aisle, rendering me both breathless and petrified. Sensing imminent peril, I swiftly fled that unhallowed domain. An eerie presence forever etched upon my consciousness. Following this harrowing ordeal, my time at Walmart grew increasingly untenable. A subsequent incident only fueled my decision to sever ties with that spine-chilling environment. On the eve of my birthday, seeking a swift purchase of a celebratory card for a dear friend, I ventured into a Walmart, naively anticipating a brief and uneventful excursion. However, what awaited me within those unassuming walls would forever scar my psyche. Navigating the aisles to find the perfect card, I submerged myself in the task at hand, oblivious to my surroundings. Suddenly, a voice pierced through the veil of insulated solitude, wrenching me from my reverie. Startled, I turned to find a middle-aged man lurking mere inches behind me, his presence hitherto unnoticed. The intrusion of his inquiry, probing the details of my venture, sent chills cascading down my spine. With a feeble attempt to mask my discomfort, I hastily dismissed his unsettling inquiry, aware of the eerie atmosphere that shrouded us. Determined to distance myself from this unnerving individual, I hastened towards the checkouts, only to find the man matching my every step. His unwelcome presence persisted, defying my efforts to dissolve this unholy connection. Disoriented but resolute, I veered sharply, abandoning my original path and escaping to the distant recesses of the store. Desperate for refuge, I sought solace in the aid of a Walmart employee, my voice quivering with apprehension as I disclosed my plight. As I traversed deeper into relative safety, the unsettling pursuit continued unabated. Panic surged within me, threatening to consume my every rational thought. My salvation came in the form of another employee, whose presence inadvertently granted me a temporary respite from the impending darkness. The malicious entity, sensing the disruption to its prey, reluctantly receded into the shadows, eluding both my sight and the impending grip of authority. Alas, the tormentor found one last opportunity to send my fragile psyche into disarray. Just as I neared the comforting embrace of the front of the store, the tormentor manifested abruptly, launching himself from the concealment of a corner. His sudden reemergence defied all rationality, defying both my comprehension and imagination. Uttering an involuntary scream of terror, I defied the limits of human endurance, sprinting blindly away from the malevolent presence. As the day wore on, an unsettling sense of foreboding crept upon me. How did these mysterious individuals locate my Instagram? The thought of their knowledge about my identity sent shivers down my spine, while their unwarranted surveillance captured through those chilling photographs fueled my unease. Recollecting my recent shopping excursion, I strained to recall any signs of being followed or subjected to suspicious glances. Alas, my recollections proved fruitless, as no abnormalities surfaced in my mind. I had been consumed by the mundane task of shopping, oblivious to any sinister presence surrounding me. After completing my day's work, my mind remained restless as I returned home without venturing elsewhere. The night grew late, casting its somber cloak upon my thoughts, when I was roused from my pre-bedtime routine by a disturbing sight. There, parked in front of my house, a vehicle lay in wait, concealed within the shadows. Its unilluminated facade and uncertain duration of presence injected a surge of anxiety through my veins. An immediate concern arose, questioning whether this peculiar car bore any connection to the enigmatic Instagram messages. Though logic suggested mere coincidence, my apprehension overruled, leading me to draw the curtains tightly shut. As I readied myself for bed, my peace was shattered once again by the incessant vibration of my phone. With a mixture of curiosity and dread, I greeted a new Instagram message, apprehensive of its contents. Behold, it was from the very same account that had plagued my peace earlier. My heart plummeted as I opened the message, revealing yet another photograph and image capturing the exterior of my own home. The shock was overwhelming, prompting me to rush back to the living room in a futile attempt to catch a glimpse of the retreating vehicle. Sleep evaded me that night, leaving me teetering on the precipice of confusion and terror. Paralyzed by uncertainty, my only response was to block the Instagram account, desperately praying for the cessation of these chilling messages. Curiously, in the aftermath of that harrowing incident over a week ago, no further unsettling events have unfolded, at least to my awareness. I ardently hope to evade any future encounters with those haunting Instagram messages.